Queridos amigos de Cuba, les habla su presidente, el presidente Trump. Actually, right now, I'm not your presidente per se, but if you think about it, why not? ¿Por qué no, muchachos?
Remember that one time where America issued an arrest warrant for a South American communist dictator and then went ahead and did the incredible thing of arresting him in the dark of night, black-bagging him while he slept with his wife, black-bagging his wife too, and then frog-marching the dude through New York City in chains for the world to see right after Christmas? Man. That actually happened. And what happened next is even more remarkable. The relations between America and Venezuela completely normalized diplomatically and economically. Venezuela started selling enormous amounts of gold and minerals and oil to America. And 100 years of wrongs and stupidity and weakness from the American people and our leaders actually were righted. And the communist dictator and his regime was thrown into the trash. And it was all relatively peaceful, and things are going well, actually. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for round two? Justice Department officials eyes cases against Cuban leaders as Trump floats friendly takeover. Oh no. Top Justice Department prosecutors in Miami are considering criminal investigations of Cuban officials. According to the people familiar with the matter, the inquiry comes as President Trump has raised the possibility of a friendly takeover of the communist-run island. Oh, so they're going to do the same thing in Cuba. That's what they're saying. Here's President Trump from this weekend. Trump warns of imminent action against Cuba, Shield of America's summit. Trump hosted leaders from 12 nations across the Western Hemisphere. This is, of course, a message to the rest of the world that you are not allowed to come here and to buy off corrupt South American dictatorships in order to smuggle drugs and to spy on Americans and to run military operations against America. That's what this actually is. But anyway, President Donald Trump joined leaders at the Shield of America summit. And after the capture of Nicolas Maduro, he had a message for the cartels. He's obviously been yeeting now cartel heads and cartel bosses, El Mencho, 6 feet in the ground. And now President Trump is saying that Cuba is going to be next. A remarkable Trump highlighted, touted the U.S. military's actions during his second term, military operation to capture Maduro, and a warning of imminent action in Cuba. As we achieve historic transformation in Venezuela, we're looking forward to a great change that will soon be coming to Cuba, Trump said. Cuba is at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money. They have no oil. They have bad philosophy. And they have bad regime. It's been like that for a long time. Trump said Cuba's at the end of the line. They have they are very much at the end of the line. They have no money. They have no oil. They have bad philosophy. They have bad regime. They've had that for a long time, he added. But Cuba's at its last moments of life, and it'll have a great new life, but it's in the last moment of life the way that it is. Okay. Well, I mean, is Trump right? Yeah. Wait till you see what's going on in Cuba right now. Trump tells CNN that Cuba is going to fall. I'm going to put Marco over there. Marco Rubio has been waiting for this moment his entire life. Mass protests have erupted across Cuba as tensions explode. Look at this. This was what Cuba looked like last night. Fires rage in the street as buildings burn. Crowd bangs pots and pans, chanting, "We want freedom." The world has had enough of dictators. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, a wild scenes of protests against the Cuban regimes. You are seeing, look at this, government buildings set ablaze as the people of Cuba have had enough. Who can blame them? Massive protests break out against the Cuban regime. Communism is falling. There it is. Trump is going to bring freedom across the globe. They're setting government buildings on fire now. And this is one that's apparently a government post atop a large mountain. It had military guarding it. So, did the military just lay down arms? Did the military set fire to the base? Cuba Libre. Protests against the communist regime has intensified. The regime will fall and Cuba will be free. Cuba's power grid 1 year apart, before and after the economy in free fall. Darkness is spreading across the nation. No bombs, no war. The regime is just running out of everything. You see here the island. You can see the electrical grid, the lights on the island, and then you can see what it looks like now. There's virtually no electricity. The entire island is in complete blackout. You have here Havana, and that's it. And what happens to people when they don't have basic food, water, electricity? What happens to people? You can't control those people. This is what the streets of Cuba looks like right now. There you go. Bye-bye, communist Cuba. Breaking Cuban factories in Manassas, Cuba, has just been caught on fire, just been set on fire. Mass protests all across Cuba. People are fed up. Communism under the boot for half a century. Freedom breaking out everywhere. Globalism is dying. Nobody wants the nonsense of 15-minute cities or eating bugs for dinner. Secretary Rubio for president of Cuba. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that there is going to be some great action 90 miles from the American coastline, which is exciting for me because, well, I actually would really love to see that. I live in Florida. I live, this is a little anecdotal, but there are so many Cubans in Tampa. They're my neighbors, and these people love President Trump, and they love freedom, and they love America, and they're some of the most patriotic people I've ever met in my freaking life. And they've been here for a whole generation. They came here in the 60s, right? And oh man, are they itching for this? Are they excited for this? I mean, you have Lindsey Graham up here saying he's in Miami. Why is Lindsey Graham in Miami? Promising that the regime is going to fall, promising that...
Like it, this is Ronald Reagan plus. Donald Trump is resetting the world in a way nobody could have dreamed of a year ago. He is the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. Our military is the best of all time. Iran is going down, and Cuba is next.
Cuba is next. President Trump saying
Congratulations
this. White House
as
actually
well to
this past week.
Co-owners Jorge and Jose Mas, who came from Cuba, right? Originally from Cuba? Huh? Your parents came? And you're going to go back, oh, yeah. It's going to be, and you won't need my approval. You just fly back in when I can just see that. It's going to be a great day, right? We're going to celebrate that separately. I just want to wait a couple of weeks.
This was President Trump last week.
I wanted to wait a couple of weeks, but we'll be together again soon, I suspect, celebrating what's going on in Cuba. They want to make a deal so badly, you have no idea.
Okay. Well, with uprisings in Cuba, with the table being set, sort of for a Maduro-style raid, what will happen next? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've seen this one before. It's called a rerun. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, subscribe. See ya.